Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Littleport. It's Thursday. You know what it is. Littleport Christian Spiritualists here, beaming to you live and pre-recorded if you're watching not on a Thursday night. And we are sending out our thoughts and our love to all of the world. And you're all most very, very welcome. And Liz Murray, for the first time, hello. You are very welcome amongst us. Good to see you and good to see everyone. Both familiar and new faces too. And boy, have we got a night for you tonight. Now, unfortunately, let's get the bad news out of the way first. Reverend Allen, due to a technical issue in the fact that he has not got any internet that's worth stability, is not able to join us tonight, but he will be trying to watch online. But do not worry. Do not worry, we still have a reading. The lovely Samantha is stepping in and she's got a treat for you tonight, that's for sure. So it's very Alan-esque. We've created a new word today, Alan-esque. And of course, we've got all of our usual favourites. Of course, we will be having Reverend Lynn. We've got Hannah and Bully issuing in the last of the recipients coming on for their message. But of course, we've got a medium as well. And our medium tonight is a very good friend of ours. He was one of the first actually to join us online. And we all know, of course, that Chateau Del Nic is not going to be the permanent residence of our church. We will be going back to the village hall very, very soon. But more news on that eventually when we know the actual details. But it's still going to be welcoming everyone on a Thursday night to the internet, on Facebook, on YouTube. And yeah, it's a strange one, really. I'd gotten so used to seeing my bedroom in reverse on a Thursday night and being able to roll over and go to sleep after the service rather than cleaning up the pots and pans. But I have missed it too. So friends, let's get the ball rolling and say a big hello to our medium for tonight. Good friend of our church. Martin, are you there?
I am indeed. Good evening, Nick, and good evening, everyone. That's out there.
So what have you...
Lovely to see you.
How have you been?
Yeah, I've been doing a bit of DMing here and there. I mean, obviously, you can't beat being in the flesh. So it will be my absolute pleasure to come back to the village hall at some stage. You know, I've done a few recently in the flesh and some online, and just dipping my toes in there, really, Nick. You know, keeping it going. Yeah, with the COVID starting to move out of the way and opening the churches. Perfect. Let's get back to what we used to do in the flesh. We can all have a chat and get together and you know, embrace the world of spirit and what we all enjoy to do. I mean, and I must say, I know I did put a comment on Facebook, but very sorry to hear about your dad. And for me, always welcoming when I'm at the village hall, a character and a genuine nice man. So I think in life, if you can cross the threshold with accolades like that behind you, you can't go far wrong. So God bless him anyway.
Bless you, thank you. And yeah, I mean, I everyone, in fact, someone made a comment tonight that they were quite impressed with the timekeeping. And as you know, we've been broadcasting at least part of the service for about 4 years now, if not longer. He would always avoid being part of that, obviously. But everyone was impressed tonight with the timekeeping. We was always late starting before because he'd have you guys in the kitchen giving you the best route home or how to avoid this detour and all that stuff. So the timekeeping has never been my fault. mostly. But yeah, it's lovely to have you on, and thank you so much for that. And I think it's better to give your response from the lady who knows him best, and that's Mum. So she says thank you, Martin. So
lovely man. So we deeply miss when I turn up there, especially at the end when, you know, we're all going in there for a drink and whatever else.
Absolutely. The tea won't be the same until the training is completed. That's for sure. And speaking of the tea not being particularly as good, that was my first mistake in spiritualism. I believe it was described as gnat's urine. But I can tell you who can confirm whether that was the description. The lady who said it. Are you there, Reverend Lynn?
I am. Now, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, good. Yes, hello, Martin, and welcome to Littleport Spiritualist Church, Christian Spiritualist Church, even. And, there's the rub, as Shakespeare might have said. But, yes, Reverend Nick was never very great shakes at tea making, shall we say. I won't repeat it because I know that some people say the old jokes are the best, but some of them are really, really old. I remember Reverend Peter Spillett, who served us so faithfully for years, many years ago, decided to go and move to Spain. And he actually sent me a card in an envelope, and there was something in it, and it was a tea bag, and he said, "This is for Nick, and tell him to, it should make about 20 or 30 cups of his kind of tea." So that would give you some idea of the strength. I think I've still got that tea bag floating around somewhere. I never bothered to give it to Reverend Nick, but spiritualism has been seen to be about lots of cups of tea and cake or biscuits, and I think that is rather a nice side of our religious belief, and very nice part of our social gatherings and our worship gatherings. Because if you don't get a cup of tea and a biscuit or a cake, one can often feel cheated. And as a medium, if they do not offer you a cup of tea and a cake, you can bet your boots that they're not going to invite you back after the service, that is. And I served one church, I think it was Bexley Heath Christian Spiritualist Church, where they actually gave me a china cup and saucer and biscuits on a china plate, and with a little doily and everything. And I said, "Oh, this is very nice." And they said, "Oh, you must have been all right tonight, because otherwise you'd have got a mug." I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah.
So they reserved their china and their posh plates and things for mediums they thought were all right, and those they didn't think. So you'll know, Martin, when you eventually come to the village hall, if you get presented with a tin mug and a chunk of cake or something and left to your own devices, you haven't been very good.
Well, the slice of cake's perfect, but the cup of tea, I'm totally anti-tea. So glass of water, perfect. I'm sure you're going to get the posh china. I'm sure
Absolutely.
of it. And there are people who criticise us and say that we're, anti-religion and anti-everything that they are, whoever they are. That's not true either. And I'm sure that, you're going to prove beyond a doubt that what we say is the truth, that we are able to have communion with those who have passed over before us, our loved ones. And I think that those religionists, those Orthodox religionists who batter us with their holy script, we ought to, just batter them back, really, and let them know where they're mistaken. Because, that old prohibition in the Bible that they're always hitting us with, that says, "Thou shalt not be..." Oh, Deuteronomy, by the way, chapter 18, verses 10 to 12, where it says, "There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or daughter to pass through fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of the times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard or a necromancer. For all who do these things are an abomination to the Lord. Well, that was a translation. They love that translation, don't they? But you see, the true meaning and message has been explained by, scholars of Hebrew. And they have said that it's actually a condemnation of false and fraudulent mediumship, and is not a prohibition against genuine mediumship. So, there were fraudulent mediums in the past, just as there have been in more modern times, and they're the ones who are actually being told, this is the wrong thing to do, which we would echo that. So the next time somebody quotes Deuteronomy at you and tells you that one, just say, well, actually, there's a slight slant to the translation there. And don't forget that King James was sure that witches were to blame for all the ills that ever befell him. And he was the one who authorised the Bible that everybody reads. The authorised King James version. People don't even think about it. But those people who are translating it into English had a mind to the fact that King James was paying them to do this and was looking over their shoulder, so to speak. So, anything about witches got played up and slightly mistranslated there. So I think that, we need to remember that our way of life, our religious philosophy is true. We hold fast to that. St. Paul said himself, hold fast to that which is good. And that for sure we do. I mean, all those wonderful healings and visions and information messages and communications that all those ancient mediums and healers, called prophets, received from the spirit world and from higher spirit are not to be sneezed at. But at the same time, we've got to look at those, messages that they got, the communications, and look at them with our spiritualist knowledge and education, and know that sometimes those messages were slanted a bit in favour of the way the medium thought, just as it might happen today. And we have to be very careful, and as St. Paul said, discern the spirit. He wasn't saying there is no spirit, there's no such thing, don't do it. He said discern the spirit, lest you be deceived. And so that's what we do. We actually, as Christian spiritualists, we uphold the example and teachings of Jesus Christ, and indeed say that he is our Lord and Saviour, light of the world. And the fact is that I don't think that anybody before or since has ever poured so much light and love into the world as he did. But at the same time, look at the corruption that occurred around that, and how people have mistranslated and misunderstood, often deliberately, to bend all those communications and messages and to their own ends. And I think that we have to be very mindful of that as spiritualists, say that, there is division caused by these various religious factions, but at the same time, we have to understand that they are misguided and that they are not right. And they need to look at their own writings and their own understandings of their own religious teachings to see where the truth lies. And I think that if they look past you, they're in superstitious circles in Israel, among the Jewish people from which I spring, of course. If somebody sneezes, they say they sneeze on the truth. And Reverend Nick then sneezed after I finished saying that bit. But I think that those who love us in the world of spirit, and by those who love us, I really mean that. It's our loved ones who have gone before us, and in every step up, right up to the Great Spirit himself or itself, there is love pouring down on humankind, and it's only humankind itself that fails sometimes to receive that love, or mistranslates and misappropriates it in a way as it comes through the human spirit on this earth plane, and makes things so difficult and different for other human beings. So I think that I probably said enough. I hope that people who have actually lost loved ones of late, or even if they've lost them a long time ago and still miss them, take comfort from our teachings, which are the truth, that they are still conscious individual personalities living on in those other spirit dimensions that, you know, God in its great wisdom gave to us as, you know, as a race of humans. It's just wonderful. We are spirit here and now. We came from spirit. We will go back to spirit, and we will then be reunited and rejoin all those that we have loved and feel that we've lost. And we should be joyful in that we have this wonderful gift of life, which is eternal. And then we come to the fact that we have mediums who work on our spiritualist platforms, like you, Martin, who are there to provide the proof that what we say is the truth, and to comfort people, even if it's not, you know, vocally comforting. Oh, well, be comforted because, you know, your Uncle Fred says so and so. The comfort is there in knowing that our loved ones are around us and are able to actually show their care for us through mediumship, through the good work of our mediums. But also, if people sit quiet themselves and just say a word or two to that loved one, and it doesn't matter how long ago they went, okay? It does not matter whether it was yesterday or years and years ago. They're still there, able. If you just say to them, they will listen to you. You may not hear their reply, but be sure that they hear you, and that it fills them with joy to know that they are remembered in that way, and that you know that they are still there, even if you can't hear them or see them. So I'll just leave you with those thoughts, I suppose. Never one to leave people without something to think about. And also, you know, going back to particularly the biblical text that people use against spiritualism and against spiritualists, you know, read them yourself as a spiritualist, and you yourself will be able to reason out the fact that some of those tracts are slanted against us for various reasons. Because let's face it, if everybody believed what we did, there would be no more wars, because nobody would want to hurt somebody else for any reason, and certainly not for greed, which is what is the root cause, I believe, of most conflicts. You know, it's envy and greed and wanting what somebody else has got, and not liking somebody else because they look different, or they speak differently, or they have different customs and you don't like them, or you don't like their cooking. You know, all sorts of reasons for people to separate themselves up from other people. And if you only understood, if people only understood, we're all spirit. You know, we're all spirit. We have no colour, you know, different from the next spirit. It doesn't matter what country we live in or anything. You know, the world didn't come with a long load of pencil marks all over it. You know, God didn't write pencil marks all over the world saying, you live here, you live there. That was what human beings did to the world after it was made. So I think, you know, when people blame God or Great Spirit for things that go wrong, for the evil that goes on, I think they really have to be told, hold a mirror up to yourself, look at your own evil doing, look at your own, you know, motivations, and realize that, you know, you need to be a better person, a better spirit within, and to recognize those things in yourself. And as Jesus said, love one another, love thy neighbor as thyself. if everybody loved their neighbour, each one loved the next person to them, and so on and so on, all around the world, everybody would love each other. And it doesn't mean to say you've got to fall on somebody's neck and go, oh, I love you, you know. Love is an action. It's not just a feeling. And I think that, you know, the main thrust of spiritualism is to try and uplift everybody else, to try and explain to people that, it's humankind that makes the world bad, not the Great Spirit. And we have to try and pursue that line no matter what. And it doesn't matter how many Bibles they throw at us or other tracts, you know, we just got to stand firm and say, no, you know, we are spirit, you are spirit. Don't have a go at us, because you're the same as us within yourself. And, just love one another. This is what Jesus said. Those 2 commandments are the greatest out of all. And he said, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and love thy neighbour as thyself. Love one another. So there we are. I'll leave you with those thoughts, shall I? And wish you lots of love, Martin, on your mediumship for tonight. I'm sure it's going to be a lovely evening, full of lovely messages from loved ones, people that they've left down here. And I look forward to seeing all those people accepting those messages. If they don't, please take their names and addresses, and I will write them a very harsh letter and explain to them, you know, the mechanics of accepting messages from spirit. So I'll leave you with those thoughts. God bless everybody.
God bless you, Lynn. I'm just going to briefly mute you because I want to keep you on a second. It's not very often I do this, but I happen to already know what the reading is because I discussed it with Sam earlier. So this is why I've been keeping my mouth pretty much shut on a philosophical level, because I like to test the spirits myself, as you always taught us, to tie in the address with the reading rather than use the reading to lead to the address. We endeavor to show proof in philosophy by doing that. Now, not only knowing that, I just to tie across to the two, because I do know that it works tonight. People often ask about the logo of the New Christian Spiritualist Society, which I was lucky enough to be allowed to design twice. It's its second incarnation now, for those that believe in reincarnation. The logo did get reincarnated, but there is a book with some text on it. And that text is actually real text. If you get the high definition version and zoom in, you can read it. And it actually is quite important, really, because as much as many people have mistranslated the biblical scriptures, there is one bit they missed, and that is on our logo. And it's from Corinthians 12, and it's as follows. There are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit distributes them. There are different kinds of service, but the same Lord. There are different kinds of working, but all of them, in every one, it is the same God at work. Now, to each one, the manifestation of the Spirit is given for the common good. To one, there is given through the Spirit a message of wisdom. To another, a message of knowledge by means of the same Spirit. To another, faith by the same Spirit. To another, gifts of healing by that one Spirit. To another, miraculous powers. To another, prophecy. To another, distinguishing between spirits. To another, speaking in different kinds of tongues. Still to another, the interpretation of these tongues. All of these work of one and the same Spirit, and he distributes them to each one, just as he determines. And so that is Paul, again, saying everyone can be a medium. It's all from the same place. Get on with it. And you know, I love that, which is why I included it in the logo. But to tie off with a nice little bow, I happen to know that there was a blog post published over the last few days. I also happen to know that Reverend Lynn hasn't read it yet because I haven't had my spelling and grammar corrections. Because I always do when I do anything. I love it. It's brilliant. I've actually partaken in Grammarly to try and give her a break. But interestingly enough, what you were saying, Lynn, I just want to reference two paragraphs within it. One might hope to find solace, comfort, or support among those of the faithful. Yet painfully, I confess, this is still not so. Driven by the focus of difference rather than the emphasis of the familiar, the error again is compounded. The individuality that was gifted to us by God itself, making us unique, is crushed under a yoke of cultural determination, gender, sexual preference, and difference solely based on human interpretation of the divine power. Unless our efforts for changing unity are genuine, consciously struggled for, unless grand gestures are transformed from platitudes to in favor into a force for good to change the world, they will be meaningless. In other words, just as with prayers said by rote, with little real thought for the meaning, without doing something about unity and change, words and gestures are empty and as hollow as a beetle in an arid wasteland. We all know that if we continue with empty promises, we shall become that empty carapace forgotten in the sands of lost opportunity. We stand at the dawn of another shift in attitude. We must all unite to bring aid and the songs of the choirs of all of our respective immortal realms into the light of day and carry each other forward with them. So I think that really quite ties a bow in the top of it. And I happen to know that the reading will do just that as well. So I hope you all don't mind me sharing a little bit of philosophy. If you're interested in reading the whole blog post, which was 1,700 words, takes about 15 minutes to read, it's at revnickbrown.com. Shameless self-promotion there, but I don't do it very often, so there we are. So thank you for your wise and words, Lynn, to bring forward that philosophy. And I know Spirit had great input because of what's coming next. So I'll just unmute you as you say. Have a lovely evening, and we'll see you a bit later on.
Thank you very much, Reverend Nick, and that was a very nice discourse there, and I know that you get inspiration from your guides and helpers in spirit, and it was just very nice to hear. And I think that, you know, like I've always said, that there are always people who come to our services that are suffering from the sense of loss of their loved ones, and whether it's near the surface or deep down and tucked away inside them, and to hear such lovely words must only bring them comfort in that situation. And so thank you very much for that. And I thought that they were much more loftily put than my talk beforehand.
Bless you. No, we always
have a good evening. Have a good evening.
We love your plain talking. I was talking about it earlier with Sam. So thank you, Lynn, and we'll see you a bit later on.
God bless.
Well, Martin, I'm just going to press pause because I'm hoping this is going to work. Evelyn, who wants to know where she can find it, there should be a link coming up in the comments now. But unfortunately, I think it's just gone to the YouTube page. But there's a link on the Facebook page somewhere below this service. So you'll be able to find it. Picture of a big dove with an olive branch in. So moving on to other words of a very, very great kind now. We are going to have, see, just to confirm, Lynn, I'm not the only one who thinks it. They love your words. When you get time, read the comments. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it, dear. So speaking of other words, Samantha, are you there? Early start tonight, my love.
Yes, early start, but yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Excellent. So over to you to introduce and read our reading of the date.
It's called Still I Rise by Maya Angelou, very inspirational speaker. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may tread me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you while you are beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awfully hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of ancient shame, I'll rise. Up from the past that's rooted in pain, I'll rise. I'm a black ocean leaping wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I'll rise. In a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I'll rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Thank you. Mummy. Oh.
Thank you, Sam. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And I just love Maya's poem. And in actual fact, I've got a bit of a surprise for everybody. To close the service, instead of the rip-off BBC News theme tune, I didn't put that in lip sync. I've actually got a video off YouTube of Maya reading that poem with a little bit of a blurb beforehand as well. I think she's just amazing, and the appropriateness of spirit giving us that, not only with Lynn's words, but in the world in which we live at the moment and all that's going on. I just think it was great to have such a soulful and spiritual and wonderfully uplifting giver of golden words, as Lynn used to say, the golden words. So thank you, Sam, and absolutely amazing. God bless you, my love. And one day we'll tell everybody the story of how we discussed the same poem. Bless you. See you a bit later on, my love.
Okay, see you later.
Well, Martin, how are you feeling so far? It's one of them nights, isn't it?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I can't complain.
Good. Excellent. Well, now it's time for a bit of thoughtfulness, restfulness, love and upliftment, because we are going to be providing now healing. And I just need to scroll back in the comments because I did see some, I left my pen downstairs, and somebody asked for healing for, I believe, their father. Where are we? Well, it's written in the list. I can't actually find it. I believe it was somebody's father. So Spirit know where the healing needs to go. And this is the point. Spirit knows where the healing needs to go. So the names of those that are listed. Karen, thank you. Karen's dad. Please send healing to Karen's dad. And to everyone who's in need, as we say that prayer that's become quite known over the last year, and then send out our healing thoughts to all those who are sick and suffering. And we can all do it. It's the most simplest, most effective, and most widespread form of mediumship in the universe. So here we go, friends. Let's join together as we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother God, Here we bring unto you all those who are sick and suffering and in need of comfort, be they sick in mind, body, or spirit, that it may please thee to heal them. We ask for those we know, those we do not know, and those who have no one to ask for them. We ask for them now. Bless you, everyone, and thank you. And, you know, one of the things that I love about this type of service that you don't get so much in church, I'm not saying, Martin, you will know, you get to see some things going on in front of you when the services are going on, especially when it comes to sweet wrappers and various different things. One of the things that I absolutely love is to see what's going on at home in a sample, and the absolute respect for spirit is that no matter what we are doing, whether we are nipping off to get something to eat, if we're running late to getting back to our seat before that healing starts, we stand in the middle of the room and stop what we're doing and join in. And I think it's amazing. I really, really do. It just goes to show. Hello, Lynn. She waved. She said, it just goes to show that the walls of a church is the air that we breathe. And it shows that true spirit comes from within. And that no matter where we are or what we are doing, it matters. It really, really does. And I feel so strongly about that. But I know I'm eating into the rest of the service. I'm going to shut up now because it's your time now, Martin. And this means that, Stacey, this is your 25-minute warning. And we will go in order of who's actually in the screen, because I know people have been popping on and off with technical issues. So, Cheryl, are you there, my love?
Hi, yes, I am. Hi.
Oh, how very professional you were, getting yourself unmuted just at the right time. Well done. Right, I'm going to leave you two to it. Have a wonderful evening. Martin, I know you're going to storm it tonight, so I'll see you in a bit.
Thanks, Nick. Evening, Cheryl.
Hi, Martin.
You can hear me okay, can you? Brilliant. Okay, mate. Let me connect. Is there anything in particular you'd like me to pick up on? Anything at all you've got to ask me, or did you want me to make a link? It's entirely up to you.
If my dad was about, that would be great, but if he's not.
Okay. Bear with me and I'll see what we've got. Okay. Right. I'm not sure who I've got with me yet, to be honest, Cheryl. But I've just been given loads of it looks like a lot of art, and they look very colourful things indeed, very orangey. Do you know anyone that was into art around you? So,
well, it runs through the family, so could be.
does.
Yeah.
And I'm just feeling like this person that's showing me this, it just feels like it's like external. So I'm drawing pictures around the side of houses and the outside. That's what it feels like. So it's like gardens and things like that. So I don't know if that means anything to you. Someone that would sit out in the good weather and doodle and draw, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. I just feel like I've got a gentleman that's joining me now, and I just feel this man would like his own space and own time. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
So I just feel with him a fairly reserved attitude with him, and I know that he would like to pull himself away from any drama and be within his own spirit and soul, if you know what I mean, in his own quietness. I just feel with him that there's a time and a place for everything, but I feel with him that he needed his own space, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You won't understand why I keep seeing like oranges. It's really thingy, but oranges. Really odd. It's like a orange tree come harvester orange. I don't understand why I'm getting it, but bear with me. Okay. Weird. Angelina Jolie, she done a film called Maleficent?
Yes.
I don't know why I'm getting that as well. So I'm seeing that there. Okay. Do you understand the lady in the spirit world that was you don't understand the gentleman here? He's on about a lady in the spirit world that was a little bit witchy-fied. Do you understand that?
No, kind of.
And I just feel that she didn't always get on with everyone, this lady.
I'd have to check.
Okay, there we go. I don't know where we go with this. Do you understand Jack, the name Jack, connected in the spirit world as well?
I know of a Jack, yeah.
Right. And from what I understand as well, do you understand, gentleman I got here now, I feel from him that he would have had many stories to tell, so he could tell many events that happened in his life. And do you understand that maybe one or two of them might have been stretched a little? Do you understand that at all, this gentleman?
Yeah.
So I just feel there's many stories that he would have told to people, and particularly yourself as well, about his growing up and stories that he did. And I just feel that he put a lot of humour into them as well. Do you understand the humorous side of his stories? Okay. Would you understand with him as well that when he was younger, particularly in his younger years, there was an aspect of loneliness around him as well? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Around him, because I don't feel him super strong here, but what I'm sensing is this aspect of loneliness, and I'm picking up from him as well that there's. Would you understand the last 2 years for yourself have been particularly? There is times when you feel quite alone yourself. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And would you understand the reason why I'm getting 2 years, going back the last 2 years in particular for you?
Yeah, my dad's passing.
2 years ago. Okay. That was 2 years ago. Okay. That's why he's referencing 2 years to me. So that's fine. As long as you understand, trying to blend with his energy a bit more here now. And I just feel with that, okay, referencing my father. So with my father, I was, the one thing I missed with my father from passing was the communication. And it was the stimulation that we had together. And that I feel it's very similar. He's like trying to mirror it through me now. It's the stimulation of not having your father around for the times when you would talk to him and you knew what you got with father, and he would tell you exactly as it was.
Exactly.
And it put you on the straight and narrow. You understand? And I know he's trying to now mirror that with me for you. And I just know the last 2 years have been tough. And the separation there. Do you know about the young child in spirit as well?
Yeah.
Belong to yourself?
Yeah.
The young child. Okay. Are you just telling me, you mentioned the young child? The young child is with the young child. The young child in spirit. And I feel this is a boy. Would you understand the young child in spirit?
Well, I was only 7 weeks, so.
Right, okay. As long as this is what I just feel, I can hear him saying, child, the child, the child. So if you understand that the young child is with father,
Yeah.
He looked after. Okay. I just could hear him, so I had to bring it up. I just feel with father, many lessons you learned from him.
Yeah.
Along the way. Don't forget them lessons. That's what he's trying to say. And many, many good times along the way. And I know that from spirit side of life, I just know it's very tough, and it is when we lose our parents. Let me just go back and find out what that is. So, am I right in saying that father would doodle and do drawings and paintings and stuff like that?
No, he didn't do anything like that. He was good at writing.
No, because what I'm seeing is there's very bright colours, and I think what he's trying to reference is actually trying to bring more colour and energise your life again. Because I feel that father thinks you need to get yourself back out there again now and stop dwelling on things. I know that the last year's been hard as well without father and COVID, but I know that he wants you to pick yourself up. That's what it feels like, because he's watching from the wings, and there's nothing like putting a smile on your face to put a smile on his face, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard. Do you know the Smurfs?
The Smurfs?
Do you remember the Smurfs?
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's in my head now. I'm seeing a Smurf. So I don't know if there's any memory of a Smurf with you and your father or something going on there. This feels like many, many years ago.
Nah, Raggy Dolls was my thing. Giving me age away now.
Have you got just as I'm looking now? Have you got a photo, and it feels like it's got a slight sort of pinkish tinge to the background? Would you understand that at all? Like a photo in a frame. There's a bit of pink in it. I feel there's a lady in there. I don't think this is father. I feel there's a lady in this frame. And it feels like Nan, a photo frame with this lady in, just a lady in, and it's sort of like her top half with her neck and head there. You understand that being like Nan, and there's a photo frame. And this is his dad's mum. Is that you understand? No, it's the other one. I just know that as I was looking across there now, I could see this lady in the photo frame here now. Feels like Nan. And there's a pink aspect to it as well, for some reason.
Yeah, she's in a pink blouse.
Okay, I understand. So hi from Nan there as well now. Just see this here now. I know they're all rooting for you, and yeah. Has Father been through many times in the past? Is this just a couple of times you've heard from him? Am I right in saying?
Yeah, he's been through a few times, but not recent, obviously.
Okay. Well, I hope that's okay for you, Cheryl. I wish I could get some more for you there now. I just know that this lady wanted to pop in and say hello, the lady your nan in the frame there with the pink aspect there. And I know Father's content. He just wants more for yourself. He wants you to put the smile back on your face because he's not seen it enough. If you can understand that, I'll leave his love. So God bless.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you.
God bless. Thank you.
Lovely. Cheryl, pleasure to see you again. Been
And
a
you,
while.
Rick. Yeah.
And I just love how Spirit just get through and say what they need to say. And of course, we have very little control over what they want to tell us, as ever, because I know that they're very interested in interfering with our lives quite often, and I just think it's brilliant. And Susan, no, I'm not holding my shoe. I've broken the stand on my microphone, so there you go. Technical issues abounding. So lovely, Cheryl, to see you, and we'll see you soon. Stay for the prayer if you wish.
Yes,
and we'll
I will
see you
do.
at the end. Bless you. Bless her. Lovely. Well, Martin, we're moving swiftly on to your next recipient. Just as I've seen some weird goings on downstairs in the green room, a screen blinking out, but fortunately your recipient has not blinked out. Tracy, are you there?
Hello.
Hello. Excellent. Clear as a bell, resounding noise. I'm getting out of the way. See you in a bit.
Hi.
Hi, Tracy. You okay?
Good. Thank you.
Immediately as you come on the screen, I just know that there's a gentleman trying to come through with me now. There's a gentleman in the spirit world, quite large in stature and large in life in general. I feel with him. I feel you'd hear him as he came through the door, as well as you'd see him. I just think this is quite a big man, big presence. I understand a big presence in your life. Would you understand Father in the spirit world as well? And who is listed? I just know that he was large in size, a large man in life in all areas, if you understand. Okay. Do you know The Lion King?
Yes.
Film The Lion King. I don't know why, but I keep seeing that in my mind for some reason. Can you understand why I'd be getting that at all?
I can, yeah.
Okay, as long as you understand it. I just feel like Father's giving me The Lion King for some reason there now. And I feel that, understand the term, his bark was worse than his bite.
It was, yeah.
Generally, yeah. I just feel with him, he'd have a bit of a roar and people like, oh, but when you really knew the man, when you really knew him.
And he had the look now, it was just like, and you behaved.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. But when you actually knew him, he was very gentle and would help anyone that deserved it. And I must say, deserved it.
Yes, he would.
You understand? And I feel with him as well, there's a few times he'd have a word in young gentlemen's ears, like particularly like teenagers and stuff, where he'd put them aside and say, come on, lad, that's not the way, pull yourself together. And I just feel they'd sort of like look up and, okay, mate, and respect him. That's what I feel with Father, if you can take that side of it. I'm not sure he's referring to you or him now. You understand the male, it might be him, the male that could have so easily took the wrong direction in life.
I can, yes, but my son, he probably means.
Okay. So you understand the male that could have had a bit of a rocky start, and you were worried about this young male that he was going to take the wrong turn, and that let's stand over that. Something to do with 4 years. It's something to do with Father's mentioned about the last 4 years in particular. He's really got himself together. We don't understand that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's 4 years. He's really proud of him for pulling it all together. I think there's been a gradual.
Our wife 4 years ago.
What, you know why, do you?
He met his wife 4 years ago.
She sorted him out.
Yeah, and she sorted him out, definitely.
Well, just know that Father is very proud of him getting to this stage and living a life that your dad would have respected. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Hugely.
Do you know that the song "My Old Man's a Dustman"? For some reason, I'm getting this ringing in my head now. So
he used to sing all the old songs.
so this would be Father singing that sort of "Roll out the barrel, we'll have a barrel of fun" and all this stuff. Yeah, I just feel that his energy is really building up now because he's got them through to you here now. Chip off the old block as well. Chip off the old block. That's what it feels like. So you understand there is aspects of your boy. I know it's his granddad anyway, but you have seen there's times with your own eyes you've seen in your son. You go, "Oh, crikey, I remember."
Not the same.
No, but there's something about him that you'll look in your eyes. There'll be times when you're gazing and you just get this flashback, and it's like him and then your dad. There's something there. Yeah, I just know that.
That's double. Absolutely.
I just know he's taking credit for it. That's all I know. He's taking credit for it here. Right. He's showing me. I know they're like CDs behind you, but it's not CDs. It's like books, big thick books for some reason with Father, like dictionary and encyclopedias and stuff like that. Can you take that from Father? Why are you showing me these?
Yeah.
I just know what he's trying to say to me now is stimulating the mind. Stimulating the mind is quite important for him. You understand that? Yeah, stimulating the mind. I just feel that Father didn't come from a lot, and he did well in life. You understand? He made the most and worked hard, Father, to get what he got, and he actually accomplished quite a lot. You understand, for someone that didn't have a lot in their life. And I feel with your son that he's getting there, and I feel that he's got aspirations now for your son to really make a good go at something. I feel that there's something your son. You understand, your son talking about doing his own business or going somewhere by himself. You understand? Yes. And there's talk around about now or blah blah blah, because he's mentioning about your son diverting away from stepping up and then taking a chance. What it feels like he's about to take the leap of faith. You understand? Makes sense? And go by himself. And I just feel grandfather's very happy about that. To go for it, to tell him to go for it, son. And he's firmly behind him. You know, Mary as well, a very common name, but for some reason, Mary. Yeah, he's just shouted Mary. Right. So, is Mother still here, or is Mother with him?
Mum's with him. He's in spirit.
Or do you understand total devotion?
Yes.
Total devotion. Because I just know he's on about the female, his partner, total devotion. One of them relationships that stood the test of time, if you understand total devotion. That's what I feel. I know he's referencing Mum, so I wasn't quite sure. I couldn't work out at the time. But I know he's trying to give your Mum credit here now. He's the one stepping in. He was the large character that wanted to come through tonight, as we know in life there now. Why would he be showing me a sheep? Like a sheep or a lamb. Would you understand why he's just put this in my mindset for you? I don't know if it's some sort of something funny or whatever else, but there's
Possibly lamb chop. I don't know if you remember that.
lamb chop. What's that?
Yeah, it's a lamb. It's a sheep puppet. It was a puppet on
Because it
television.
feels like that. It feels something laughy, like he wants to give you a memory.
Yeah.
So you had a sheep puppet, did you, when you were young? So I just know, I'm thinking, what's it? It looked like a stuffed lamb. It didn't look like it was walking around. It looked like a stuffed lamb. I should have said that. But it's some sort of memory, and it feels like a memory and something that would have brought back good times for you. Yeah. And I know that there's a lot of contentment, the spirit side of life. I just feel with you at the moment. I just feel there's more energy around you than there has been. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I feel that your energy levels have been boosted recently, and you're coming out of yourself again, and you've really got yourself sorted compared to where you were, say, 18 months ago. Yeah, you understand that?
I can.
What your father, you understand? What your father's saying.
My husband comes home tomorrow, and he's been away for 2 years.
I just know that Father's here, and he loves it because you got your glow back.
Yeah.
Father's well chuffed, and with that from Spirit Side of Life, I know Mum's in the wings here. I know Father's taken over. Give the thumbs up to your boy. Give the thumbs up to your boy. Father's very proud. Keep going, son. Be brave, and I'll live his love.
Thank you very much indeed.
You're
welcome.
Wow. I just got to do this. There he is. That's lamb chop. There we go.
He's a sorrier state than I saw.
This is the thing that's so much fun. I couldn't do that in a service. There you go. Wonderful. Tracy, thank you for coming on and allowing me to show a picture of a stuffed sheep. It seems to be the theme of animals and puppets and little creatures made of plastic and woolen material. I mean, don't tell anybody, but Reverend Russell Sprout is currently watching me from on high in my office in his little perch. Occasionally he'll pop into the service as well and say hello like this. And I know there's another little animalistic creature waiting in the wings for his part next as well. So as lovely, what a lovely message for you, my darling. And I know that if anybody wants to send you a message tomorrow, just like a toy, they can get stuffed because you'll be busy talking to someone else for a change. So
I think he's allowed to leave the hotel at midnight, so he's getting picked up at 2 minutes past.
Oh, he's going to be in a hurry to come and have a proper cup of tea and a proper biscuit, just like we just. Lovely. Tracy, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in a bit.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you, Tracy.
Well, it is that time in the evening that everybody now knows. I've intimated it with discussion.
Not Billy. Surely not Billy.
Well, there's the introduction. So, Hannah, what time is it? A special prize. Hello, Hannah Bully. We've already met Sam tonight, so I won't say hello again. But Henry, I'm sure, is hanging around as well. How are we, my lovely?
Good.
Fantastic. Now, I'd better explain to those new faces tonight what it is we've just done. So back when we were in our village hall, we would have a raffle every week at the end of the service, of course, to help raise funds. And at the end of the raffle for the last prize, I would call it out as Bully's special prize.
Yeah.
And then somebody stole that from me one week while I was away, didn't they? Yes. And I never got the job back. So now we raffle off our readings of a Thursday night. We continue with the fine honour tradition of Bully's special prize, which means that you get to keep nurturing and looking after and actually teaching Bully how to be a medium as well.
Yeah.
Because it's been a year since we had our last circle, my darlings. Do you know that?
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, and I still remember how good a healer you are, young lady.
Yeah.
So I hope you've been practicing ready, because we'll be back soon.
Mummy?
She's a bit mean giving me healing, but
Well, there's your first lesson ready for when we get back.
Yeah.
For once a week, every week until we get back into the village hall.
Did you hear
Give
that?
Mummy some healing.
Thank you.
Yes.
She will now.
There you go. And it might only be about 4 or 5 meetings before we get back in the hall.
Yay.
We hope. I'm not going to do
my vaccine last Sunday.
Did you? I've got my first one on Saturday.
Hannah's had 2 now. We've both
You've had your second. Oh, you've all had your
Where
second
are
one.
you going to?
I'm going to Soham.
Salmon.
Yeah, I'm going to Soham. Soggy Hamlet, as my old boss used to refer to it. And he was born and bred there, so he's allowed to say that without getting into too much trouble. Isn't that right, Mr. James? Well, bless you. It's lovely to see you as ever, my loves.
Yeah.
And we will see you later on at the end of the service. Mwah! Bless. I love that bit. Now, I'm pleased to report that Reverend Alan Sutton has finally made it to join us, watching at least, because he had his second jab today. And Evelyn, wish I was there with you all. Well, you will be, because we're bringing the online bit fully into the village hall. They have Wi-Fi now, so there will be no reason why you all can't come with us out of Nick's boudoir and Chateau Del Nick into Littleport Village Hall. I will make sure it happens. But before that, we've got one more reading to provide. And I know she's been sitting there getting ready and preparing herself. So I will say those magic words. Stacey, are you there?
I am.
Excellent. I'm out the way then. See you.
Hi, Stacey.
Hi.
Hiya. Right. I'm on the right wavelength. Would you understand with you? And I don't know who's giving it to me now. I just feel I've got a couple that are coming in together. I feel I've got a man and a woman coming forward to you now. And I feel that when you were a young one, you were a bundle of trouble. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You're a bit of a wild child in a way. Understand that there?
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that true?
Yeah. When I was young, not
Yeah.
sort of, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking sort of like from sort of like 7 to 14, that sort of age group. Yeah. And then, okay. I just feel I've got gran and grandfather here. This is what it feels like me. And I'm just trying to work out. I just had the two of them, gran and grandfather now, that used to. It's a cross between banter and nagging with each other. You understand? To and fro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel I've got gran and grandfather here. And for some reason, I'm seeing a brick wall here now as well. It's like a brick wall at the side of a house or the school. There's no relevance to Pink Floyd, is there? You know, another brick in the wall.
Yeah.
Hey teacher, leave them kids alone.
Yeah.
Do you understand why they're singing this to me in my head for you?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, as long as you do, but I know that they're giving me this to pass on to you then now. And I just find you've got a very good way of getting around obstacles. Does that make sense to you?
It's not a shit game, it's a brilliant game, Lewis.
Right. What they're trying to say is you're very strong-minded,
Yeah.
And if there's an obstacle in your way, you don't go around it. I'm seeing them actually show me now where you'd actually go up and kick the wall down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Your personality, you're like, do you know what? I'm not going to bother mucking around here. I'm going to deal with it. And this is what they're trying to say now. So I just see you in front of this wall. They're trying to use the analogy, and this is you dealing with life as a whole. You understand that?
Yeah.
You grab it by the neck, the throat, life, and then try to have as little in your way as possible. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you understand that the medium-sized dog that I'm seeing as well now for you, that's in spirit? I don't know if it's yours or theirs, but I just feel I've got it. Yeah, I just feel it's sort of like I don't know what the breed is, but it's a bit like sheepdoggy sort of size. That sort of you understand?
Yeah.
There now. And I know that grandfather's on about this dog. I don't know if this is yours, but I just feel with him. There was something about the dog's eyes as well. I understand the dog was very attentive and very observant, to say the least. That's what I feel with this dog. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Look. I feel there's more than the one.
Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
more
two.
Than the one. There's more than the one, but this is the one for some reason. It's medium-sized dog. Looks like a border collie sort of size, that sort of thing there now. Why they show me like it's like I'm looking for a kitchen window now. Let's see. Are you a bit of a gazer? Would you understand that, Stacey?
No, give me something more. Like, just gaze into nothing.
Yeah.
I can do, yeah.
No, it's not
I
good
can't
enough.
say I've noticed. I can't say I've noticed.
No, it's not good enough for me. So, am I right in saying that you've have you ever tried meditation?
No.
Right, let me see where I'm going with this. Okay. So your life's fairly busy, fairly hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just know that it feels like grandfather's doing most of the talking into me now. And I'm gazing and would you understand that at times your life's that busy that you feel you've got no time to actually for yourself?
Always.
Yeah. And it's a bit like you just need that half hour here and there to yourself to unwind and let off steam. You understand that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I mentioned about meditation and you gazing and you having calm and stillness in your life, and I feel that would be something for you to look into, trying to harness how to meditate. Okay, just an observation that I'm feeling for you. Right. Something going on with a gentleman in the past as well. Would you understand the relationship that has come to an end and something to do? They're on about this crossroads where the gentleman would come out of your life, but he's still hanging around a little bit. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like they were playing to me. You know, Kim Wilde.
Yeah.
You keep me hanging on, and I feel that there was this when the relationship was getting to a head. It was very sticky about how to try and move on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you understand that there's a new gentleman around as well? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, around there.
Well, I say new's like 7 months, so if that's new, yeah.
I just grandfather's here now and acknowledging the separation here of the previous relationship, which was fairly long term. Do you understand that? Yeah. And hard to move away from because of everything that was involved. Now you've got this new chapter in your life, and I just feel that it just feels like, I say it as it is, it's a bit like you've upgraded yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like you've gone up you've gone up. You understand? Grandfather's trying to say you've gone up a division. If you were playing football, you've been promoted. That makes sense.
I've gone from a man child to a real man.
And I was trying to work a way around it.
This is great.
Yeah, I was trying to work a way around it to word it correctly.
I might have to send this link to him.
Okay. Well, this is your grandfather saying, "Well done.
Yeah.
It's time to move on."
Yeah.
And time to shine. Your time to shine now.
Yeah, it is. It really is, because it's totally different.
Yeah, you've had you accomplished what you had to accomplish together. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But for the last, for something to do with the last 3 years, I'm not sure the last 3 years of relationship, but the last 3 years total, things just not right, and it was toxic to both of you. And grandfather was just wanting you to move on and get back to being you, because you've had sporadic points in your life where things have not gone good. You've had the strength of mind to move on and pick yourself up together again, and it feels like now you're at that point again where you've picked yourself up and it's time to shine. I know grandfather's got you back from the spirit world, and go and grab life for all it's worth. That's his advice. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Just feel really nice, the pair of them. I just know grandfather wanted to step forward more.
It's nice to know that Nan's gone back to Grandad, to be fair. Because they separated and Nan remarried. But they were always soulmates, really. And so it's nice to know that he's hovered about and waited.
I can see them standing together here, and I just know that he feels he's the stronger communicator and the passion to come through to talk to you about things. And if he got one or two things in your hip tonight, then he's happy. And know that they send their blessings from spirit side of life, and just want the best for you now and start enjoying your life again. Breath of fresh air.
Things are really looking up. We're going to be moving into bigger property, and that's the sky. So it's all good.
Yeah, it feels good for you as well. And with that, thanks for working with me. I'll say God bless.
Thank you. God bless.
Bless you. Now, time for the big reveal, because I don't think Martin realised who was hanging around there. Because she gave me a roasting earlier on when I was trying to send you a message. I was like, "Oh, look what names come up," and I typed it into Facebook wrong, and all I got in the background, I love the way it happens sometimes. I was typing your name into Messenger to say, "Oh, you've won the raffle," and suddenly no name was coming up, and all of a sudden I heard this voice from behind me say, "Spell it properly. It's IE." Because what you also shared with your grandmother was the spelling. And as Reverend Kathy Gibb would say, God bless you, Reverend Wendy Perry.
So you're right. Well,
I love it when they do that.
She was very good to me. She was very good to me, Wendy. And she used to book me. She got me first of all, and was very encouraging towards me. So I thank her very much for that.
She was an amazing person. She really was.
Strong.
And I'm so lost without her. It's and I do still talk to her. As I pulled out the junction the other day, I was like, "Nan, I need to know, am I doing right with this house? Is this the right thing to do? And let me know, give me a sign, tell me." So I do still talk to her, and I do still talk to the boys about her, and I do miss her, but I also do appreciate the time that I did have with her, and like it's nice that coming back here, it's like I still call it Nan's church. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah.
It'll always be
Look,
Nan's
at the end of the
church.
day, at the end of the day, she was as much a part of it as any of us. So it is Nan's church. It's your church. It's everyone's church who's a part of it. And from our own aspects, it's always going to be everyone who's involved's church. You know, I just get to sit here and press buttons at the minute. You know, that's my level of ownership. I've never said that it's my church in the sense that it belongs to all of you guys, and you know, Wendy was as much an understander of that. But from your perspective, of course, it's Wendy's church because that's how you found it. Just like Sam and Hannah, it's Bully's church. You know, it's
ladies. If I butt in, it's ladies like her. Well, enable me to be doing the work.
I remember your first. You know, I remember your first time
shaking like a leaf.
Yeah, I do remember it. I do remember it, and I remember the message that I got from her. Her word. I never actually told you what she said in her message to me because she couldn't always make it. Bless her. She sent a message saying, "The medium you've got tonight, his name is Martin. You need to look after him. He's a little bit nervous. He's a handsome fella. He's got a lovely picture that I was going to use for his poster that was in his vest, but I thought I'd better do away with that one and not embarrass him. But you look after him and make sure he's all right. All right?" And you know, that's how we just did it. You know, she would tell me, "You've got someone new. You look after them." And it was always her joy and priority to help the next generation of new mediums come through and get that chance, and we've always carried on with that. You know, I remember the first thing that Reverend Lynn ever told me about mediumship is your job is to prepare the next generation, make each generator, because what matters is genuine quality mediumship. And I'll never forget that, and I've always lived by that. And I know Wendy was the same, and going round to her house and having circles there because it was cheaper, and it meant that everyone could go and see her because we were coming to her. So, you know, she will always be a very significant part of this church. Mum has stepped forward and is now the bookings secretary because, you know, it was them two that were always talking without me about what was going on and what was going to happen. So
she was constantly sorting out mediums, constantly, and I'd be in the background as well, helping her, sorting out the flyers for your fish and chip supper nights, and sorting all those out. She'd be like, "Stacey, come on, I need your help." And then the music sheets. Do you remember when she had the music sheets? Oh my life!
Yes,
I was sat in that chair for hours on end, hours and hours on end. But she, you know, she was so passionate about it, and everything had to be right, and she was lovely. She always used to say to me, "Why do you leave everything till the last minute?" I'm like, "No, you leave everything to the last minute."
Oh, don't worry, I got that as well. You know, it's like we were saying, you know, the whole purpose of my position of senior minister, that didn't mean a damn to her because she would be giving them the same grief. Don't worry, it was lovely. It was part of the fun of it, really. And you know, speaking of the opening credits, my favourite picture is where Dad was carrying her around on the sack barrow what we used for the chairs, you know, because everyone was so panicked and worried about her. She loved every blooming minute of it, you know, and they still get in trouble to this day, I'm sure. But
I should think they've met up and
I
into
wouldn't
more
doubt
mischief.
I dread to think, really.
Be nice to hear from Emma.
Yes, I'm sure she'll get the opportunity when them pair have finished yakking. And I'm sure
really strange though. Can I just say to you, Stacey, as well, and to you, Nick, that when I've seen and had a relationship with the Spirit World as a young child, but it was only about, say, 7 years ago, I thought I'd only ever do private readings. And it's really weird how you get pushed, whether it's from the spirit side of life or from people like Wendy, Nick, yourself. And when we do this, I started doing the Deming and I grew to love it, even though there was the nerves there. And it's when we lose our loved ones, whether it's Wendy, whether Francis, my mother, 18 months ago. I love doing mediumship and I hope I'll be here for many years to come. So it's always lovely to work with the spirit world and never forget who helped you along the way. So I do thank them all the same, and hopefully I can do myself justice, you guys and them in spirit that always act as on. So,
no, it was a very, very good reading, Martin.
Definitely,
Thank you. Very good reading.
And as Susan says, you know, she's in the pictures at the beginning. It would not be the opening sequence without my Wendy poking her oar in, and George and all of us. Every single picture at the beginning of that service is a memory in the footprints of the sand of this church.
The problem is you need to add the new memories, so it's just going to end up being a very
absolutely
lengthy... This is the introduction. We'll see you in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Please hang about.
Absolutely. Well, at least we can have 3 or 4 people together on the screen like this. But thank you, Stacey, for, and it's nice to actually hear from Grandad for a change, you know, as well.
Yeah. Grandmother Wendy was actually letting him speak, and it was like that. It was like his turn. So yeah.
See, it's not you the only one that's mellowed over the years, Stacey.
I think it's nice because I wasn't really interested in hearing from Grandad because I didn't really have much of a relationship with him. So I was very like, you know, with anything that he tells me, I'm not going to know. So I think she's pushing him on purpose. I think that's what
you understand what I said about the banter and the bickering.
Yeah,
that makes sense now. With that's their
Absolutely.
way of saying.
Well, my friends, thank you so much, and Stacey, we'll have you back at the end. But for now, we'll see you soon.
Mwah.
Lovely. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, my friend, thank you for a wonderful service. It's been an absolute pleasure. But don't take my word for it. Reverend Lynn, are you there?
Reverend Lynn, are you there? I'm here. Well done, Martin.
Thank you.
It's really good to see people understanding and accepting their communications, and of course Wendy. And funnily enough, I did have a contact with Emma myself today, interestingly, just fleetingly. So I'm not surprised, actually, that they came through. Because, of course, what we do know is that where there's one person, you know, the linchpin in the family, shall we say, who's the main communicator, there's always the others gathering around quietly, you know, supporting that person. And, of course, Emma would have been there, of course, supporting her mother. And so I was made aware of that earlier today. But yes, it was lovely. And it's lovely the way that our services all tie in together. And, you know, going back to Maya Angelou, you know, and her work and her life, you know, which was extraordinary, you know, overcoming all sorts of difficulties. I mean, I think she ended up with about 50 different awards of like doctorates and degrees and things, you know, amazing, you know, and lots of books to her name and everything, and mostly autobiographical, of course, and drawing on her own experiences. And some of them were actually banned in the United States. And speaking of their struggles in the United States, especially with their police force at the moment, it's interesting to see where things come from. And of course, our police force here in the UK was based on the Peelers, you know, Sir Robert Peel, and, you know, they're sort of the Bow Street Runners, and, you know, it was them. And they were sort of after highwaymen and things. Whereas in the United States of America, the first police force, as it were, was slave chasers. They were slave chasers. That's where their police force comes from. And I think that where you get that, you know, that basis of terrible inequality, then I think you've really got a problem that's so long lasting. You can see how it's stretched on and on and on, even to the 21st century. Dreadful. So we just hope that we can pray for everybody to, you know, become enlightened. That's what we need. But talking about enlightenment, I'd just like to say that I was reminded of the words of Herbert Spencer, who said, "There is a principle which is a bar against all information, which is proof against all arguments, which cannot fail to keep a man in everlasting ignorance. And that principle is contempt prior to investigation." And, you know, people are so contemptuous sometimes of our way of life and our beliefs that I noticed that some of the comments, that some people were saying that they had problems with their family, accepting our understanding and our knowledge. And the trouble is that where people have, present us with closed minds, it's almost like getting the recipients from hell, Martin, which I'm sure you've had, people who come and sit there and dare you to find somebody in spirit for them, and refuse to take anybody except for the one they want to speak to. That's always a difficulty. But, regardless of that, I think it was wonderful to see, people uplifted and joyous and comforted by your messages to them tonight, Martin. So thank you very much. And I look forward as well to seeing you once again in the village hall, Littleport Village Hall. And yes, and I noticed, Evelyn Brown, you said that you wished, was it you that said you wished you could do this? Well, there are plenty of, I should mention, shouldn't I, that on my YouTube channel, Lynn Gibbs-Swart, Reverend Nick Brown actually filmed me giving a development talk, or two actually. So if you go there and just sort of put in development, Evelyn, you'll be able to listen to me warbling on at great length, giving you some hints and coaching as to how you might progress your own spiritual pathway in the way of looking at developing your own mediumship and psychic abilities. So you don't mind me, Reverend Nick, mentioning that, do you?
Absolutely not, especially
as for it being Reverend Wendy's church, of course it was at one time, because she controlled it all when she was the president of the church for some time under a different name, albeit, but it was still in the village hall. And really, in a way, I don't see that we've ever changed from when we first started.
No.
That's the truth.
Absolutely. Well, this is why I've got that picture at the beginning of all of us. You and Kathy and Jackie and the Junes, the two Junes and the John.
Yeah.
And Erica and Aloka and Hazel.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1998 or thereabouts, when the circle that we were all in, they all said, well, we'd like a church. And I said, well, you're going to have to run it, and we will look for somewhere. And, so it happened. So as you say, Reverend Nick, it belongs to all of us.
Yes.
Everybody. We're all equal in this. And it's just wonderful. And thank you very much, Martin, for serving us tonight.
It's my pleasure, guys. I look forward to seeing you in the flesh sometime this year.
Well, I am
not
sure.
Too much flesh, we hope.
After that talk of the
Reverend
picture,
Nick.
but yeah, it was Wendy, not me, darling. I'm sure Mum will be in touch about the rest of the year for the In the Flesh bookings. So I know she's mentioned she will in the comments. So thank you, Lynn, and thank you, Martin. Now let's briefly mute Lynn for the echo and bring everyone who's still connected back up. Here's Sam, Hannah, Bully, and Henry, and Stacey. You're still with us. So hello, everybody.
Hello.
And so let us say thank you to everyone who's joined us tonight. Thank you, everyone at home. Thank you to our recipients, Sam, Hannah, Bully, and Henry. Sam, thank you for the lovely reading, which we'll be seeing a different version of in a moment. Martin, thank you for a wonderful
My pleasure, guys.
evening.
Lovely to see you.
Reverend Lynn, thank you for your inspiration as ever. Oh, look, hang on. We do get some people back when they realise they've disappeared too early. There she is. Look. And thank you.
It was my internet, not me.
I had noticed the amount of times it had dropped on and off. Don't worry, my lovely. But of course, thank you to everyone at home who makes this worthwhile doing, not just for ourselves, but for all of you. Feel free to browse and peruse the Littleport Christian Spiritualists Facebook page. There's links in it to all sorts of things. The New Christian Spiritualist Society Facebook page, as well as the website. There's huge resources shared from Lynn's private website as well, lynngibbs-swart.com. Even though she's married now and it's Gibbs-Swart, it's still the old link. Rather than the old ball and chain. Kathy, I know you're watching and I'll suffer for that later. But for now, friends, it's time to say good night. And we do that here by saying Our closing prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as friends and to unite under your banner of love, of hope, and of friendship. We ask for a blessing to be placed on each person here present, all those watching at home, and all those that will watch at home, that your love might shine like a web around the world. And as ever, Great Spirit, we end by asking that you not move the mountain, just give us the strength to climb. Until we meet again, in your name, amen. Well, friends, that's another Thursday night from Boudoir del Nick at Chateau del Brown over, but we will be back next week. But as promised, I'm now going to endeavour to share a very, very interesting rendition from the good lady herself. Let's see if it works, first and foremost. There she is. This is Littleport. Good night. God bless. And may the peace of the Great Spirit go with you all. But until next week, here is the lovely Maya with her wonderful, wonderful poem.
Everyone in the world has gone to bed one night or another with fear or pain or loss or disappointment. And yet each of us has awakened, arisen, somehow made our ablution, seen other human beings, and said, "Morning, how are you? Fine, thanks, and you?" It's amazing. Wherever that abides in the human being, there is the nobleness of the human spirit. Despite it all, black and white, Asian, Spanish, Native American, pretty, plain, thin, fat, vowed or celibate, we rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like suns and like moons, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just because I laugh. As if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words. You can cut me with your lies. You can kill me with your hatefulness. But just like life, I'll rise. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh, does it come as a surprise that I dance? As if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs. Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain, I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, naturally, there I go rising.